Last week we did the Battle of the 33s, a PSE Evolve DS, a Hoyt Alpha X, and the Elite Ethos. All flagship bows from 2024 from these well-known bow manufacturers. But what won that competition was the Elite Ethos, based on the things that we were scoring on. So we thought instead of just letting it win that competition, let's put it through its paces in the bush. But let's go through what we're going to put on the bow to make sure it performs at its best. For the sight, we're running the CBE Track Pro 3-pin multi-slider sight. For the rest, we're running the Hamsky Hybrid Hunter Pro micro adjustable. For our stabilizers, we're running the Quattro Velagos. We've got a 15-inch stab for the front and a 10-inch stab for the sidebar with the Quattro Vero sidebar mount. And for the quiver, we're just running a tight spot 7-arrow quiver. I had to play cameraman for a while, so me and Johan were playing tag team, but now we have someone to hold the camera. And we're gonna just now test peep height before we go into any kind of paper tuning. Tiny bit higher. Look quick. Perfect. So we've got that nose button on, we've got the peep, we feel in the right place. We're gonna just confirm quickly. And then we're going to start paper tuning, which should be a breeze with this Elite. We just got a fresh page on this paper tuning stand. What's really cool is that the paper is actually from Elite, and it tells you how to use the set technology at the limb pockets. Let's check what this tear looks like. Okay, we've got a little bit of work to do. So if you didn't watch last week's video where we did a battle of the 33s with the PSE, the Hoyt, and the Elite, we actually let the Elite win, or gave the Elite the win on tunability, because you don't have to put the bow in a bow press to paper tune it. So Johan's going to run me through it. I've never done it before. Elite is a new bow to me. He's going to teach me how to use their set technology to get a center shot. Shot through the same hole. So now we've using that set technology, we've done the top and bottom limb pocket. Let's see if it's made a little bit of an adjustment. We'll sort out that peep rotation just now. I think one can say that that is a bullet hole. We're shooting a 571.8 grain arrow out of a 70-pound bow at 27.5-inch draw length, Elite Ethos. Let's see what kind of speeds we get. We are gonna hunt with this bow. That is ultimately why we're building it. So it's interesting to see what kind of speeds we're gonna get. Let's do 2 more just so we can get an average. Honestly guys, I never ever expected a bow to be this quiet. And one more, because we got that 242, then a 245, then a 246. And I'm starting to see where I shoot it is impacting the speed reading we're getting. So let's do one more for confirmation. 244. I think it's safe to say average speed is 245 feet per second. I'm going to be shooting a female impala today because unfortunately we left the horns at home. So the last time we left off with you guys, we were paper tuning in the shop, and unfortunately I was rushing the guys because I pretty much had 1 hour to get this bow completely done before we needed to get to something. And I just felt like it was a missed opportunity to really play around with one of the few bows that you literally do not need a bow press to tune. And so what I actually did in the last 2 weeks before we are now on the range and showing you guys, you know, it pretty much set up and ready to go, I pretty much went to one of my local hardware stores. I bought a bunch of PVC piping, some A1 paper, and I built my own paper tuner setup at home so I could really dive deep into that set technology from Elite Archery. It wasn't that we didn't paper tune the bow properly at the shop, but what I realized once I got home, started sighting it in and getting it ready to make the rest of this video, I realized one, the cable sliders were actually in the way of my sight picture. I needed to move the peep up. There was a lot of little things that I needed to tweak because I just rushed the process completely. And in moving that cable slider, it then, you know, you got to re-paper tune. And so I just took the opportunity to really dive deep into that Elite Archery set technology and kind of get used to the idea of tuning a bow. I said from the beginning that I'm not really a bow technician. I leave it to the professionals, but in my archery career and this journey that I'm on, I'd really like to get accustomed to that stuff and good at that kind of stuff. And I think the Elite has allowed me to jump into it and allowed the barrier of entry in terms of not needing a bow press and all that kind of stuff really extremely low. So because the Elite Ethos won the Battle of the 33s, we thought it was only right that it's the Elite Ethos that we take on one of my biggest bucket list hunts in my archery career. We are most likely going to be going for a kudu bull or Waterbock bull, and I thought what a great opportunity to really put this bow to the test. And so now I've just got a Wildcrete 3D target. It's an impala. It's supposed to be a male, but like I said, I forgot the horns. I'm going to be using that target just to really get my eye in on the silhouette of a lifelike animal and make sure that I'm confident with all those awkward shots, and just make sure that I really gel with the bow like I have been for the last 2 weeks, but now on an open range, a bit more in the bush setting, and yeah, just put it through its paces. 40 yards on that impala. Let's not make a mistake like I did while I was sighting this bad boy in and leave it on 70 and then confirm 20. Right, that means on the CBE Track Pro, the third pin I have marked as my 40. Smoked. Oh, arrow on arrow. Arrows on arrows on arrows. Now that's what I would like to see on a cold start at 40. Guys, really, I've said this before probably. I mean, I don't want to say I've never said this before and someone goes and pulls up a YouTube video from a year ago, but I haven't bonded with a bow like I've bonded with this bow. I actually sometimes feel like I'm having an affair. How does a bow give you butterflies in your stomach? From the tuning to the shooting experience, the draw cycle, the, you know, letting off the shot, arrow flight, just being completely a part of every aspect of getting this bow to its highest performance allows you to really bond with a bow like you don't normally do, because normally you hand it to a shop, they do pretty much all of it for you and then you sight it in. And so this is what we're getting at 40 yards cold start. I have not shot today. We're actually doing construction. We just cleaned up and started filming this video, and we're getting a 1/2 inch grouping at 40 yards all in the center ring already. It's just incredible. .60 on the dot. Perfect shot. Something that I think a lot of us bow hunters are guilty of that we just don't train enough is those super awkward shot positions. What I find myself, especially the style of hunting that I do, which is walking and stalking, or when I'm taking a bit of a rest, I'll make sure that I'm in the shade of a tree so I camouflage nicely. And sometimes that allows animals to really just creep up on you, and you have to take shots from extremely awkward positions. Or the thing that's providing you cover or camouflage is limited in height. I had one hunt where I had to literally shoot, you know, in a bit of a haunched position, and it was extremely unstable, and I really want to start working on those kind of shots in my archery training sessions just to become a better hunter overall. So I think what I want to start with now is super simple, because your frame stays the same, but I'll do 4 kneeling shots at 40, and then I want to go on my bum, which is not so much in terms of unstable in difficulty, but it's extremely difficult in drawing your bow back. So I think we'll just start with the knees. 40 yards. Slapped that shot a bit. I was holding far too long. Let's just get a bit more of a controlled shot there. But a target panic creeped in there because the hold was just a bit too long. Perfect. 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 And one more. Arrows on arrows. So already we've seen a change in groupings after about 16, 17 arrows, and now changing into that kneeling position. But let's see what happens when we go to our bum. Before I even go to my bum, I actually want to try and replicate the exact shot I had to do on my blessed buck. Well, it was a survival hunt, and then in the survival hunt we got the blessed buck, which was a extremely awkward, not on your knees, not standing up straight, kind of in a squat position so I could match the level of the tree that I was hiding behind. So let's give some of those a go. Still staying at 40 yards. I don't want to be losing arrows 2 weeks before a big hunt, so I'm just keeping it nice and safe. So we were in a position like this. We drew back in cover, came into a squat. Shot's already a bit left, and it is wobbly as hell. This kind of stuff is so important, guys. It's really easy to stand on a range, nice flat ground, everything, you know, perfect circumstances, but that's not the bush. Anyone that has walked and stalked, especially in Africa, or the guys up in the States going after elk and all that in the mountains, you guys know that whatever situation presents itself, that's the one that you have to take. And so that's why these kind of sessions are just so important. Again, nice low squat, pull back, side picture. Two arrows next to each other, but not the best shots. A little bit low, but that would be a hard punch. Okay, so we just had a little click record, and then it doesn't record, and then click record, and then it does record. So we just missed what my groupings were on the Impala at 40. But I'll explain to you now. We had one slightly low, and then we had two kind of high lung, but also scattered by about 2 or 3 inches. And I was actually just saying that it's important to understand when we're doing these training sessions with the awkward positions that we could face in the bush, we're not doing them just to get better at them, but we're also doing them to understand our limits. At the end of the day, all the training that we do, or any good archer does, is to make sure that when he puts that sight on the animal and he releases that arrow, he knows it's going to be an ethical shot to the best of his knowledge. So when I'm doing this, I know that if I'm going to be faced in the bush with a 90-yard shot, but I'm not compromised in my position, I can practice, I can do the form that I do every single day on the range, I'm going to be comfortable. But the minute I have to go to my knees, I know I'm going to bring that in from 90 yards to my max being 60 yards. And now clearly with my groupings at 40 yards in a squatted position, which is completely unstable, I am not even comfortable with 40 yards in a squatted position. So it's also understanding our limits so that we don't push past them and injure animals unnecessarily in the bush. Last but not least, one of the most awkward positions, and I've seen guys have to do these before, is on the bum. These are quite stable. Like I say, the hardest thing about these shots, or the most difficult thing, is actually drawing the bow back, because you don't have anything in the hip, your core and your shoulder. Little bit right. That last one was a little right, but I must say it's super stable. I'm just getting a bit fatigued. We've gone through quite a few arrows now for this video. Little heart punch there. Smoked it. Right, so not too bad. My first arrow was quite far right. Then I made a slight adjustment in the way I was anchoring because of the way I was sitting, and we managed to get a really good kill shot at 40 yards in a seated position. What's really nice about these kind of targets is there's two types of training. You can either do it on your side in terms of your form, position, you know, from bum, kneeling, squatting, standing, or you can change the target itself to start training those quartering away, steep quartering away, frontal and broadside shots. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to move to a quartering away shot or a steep quartering away shot, and then I really want to try a frontal at 40 and see how we fare as well. That looks about good. Okay, so it's not completely steep quartering away, but it's definitely a nice angle to train. Woo! That's perfect. Absolutely perfect. I'm really happy with that. So that's a perfect quartering away shot. But I really want to practice some frontal shots. I've been faced with them before. A hunt that we didn't film a couple of weeks ago, I actually had to do a frontal shot, and I really just want to get more comfortable with them. Even though I have executed them in the past, it is good to still train them. Right, let's give it a go. Smoked. I'll be honest, I punched a little because I'm absolutely finished now, but perfect shot. So the Impala wasn't directly frontal. He was slightly off to about an 11 o'clock, and so we slipped it in here straight into his vitals. This is a perfect frontal shot on an Impala. If you have any questions about the Elite Ethos, feel free to drop a question in the comments below. Stay tuned for our next survival hunt, a bucket list hunt for that kudu or Waterbuck bull with the Elite Ethos. And then stay tuned for a dedicated video on how to tune your Ethos yourself from the comfort of your own home. Really appreciate every one of you supporting this channel. Stay safe, shoot straight, and we'll check you in the next video. Peace!